What's up, y'all? What's good? Welcome back to another one. It's your boy Dame D, and I am back with another one. I totally messed up on that one, but yes, it's Freestyle Friday, y'all, and we are back with another one. Welcome to the What Up Doe Show. We are back. We are back. Freestyle Friday. I'm gonna wait for a few of you guys to jump in and chime in before we start up the show. I'm sending out a few more invites. I think we should have Big Hen that's going to be joining us soon. So I'm sending out a few more invites, and then we're gonna chop it up. So how's everybody Friday going thus far? I had a good Friday so far. I got off of work early. Therefore, I'm able to come and start to show up at a reasonable time. So what's going on, everybody? I'm gonna send out a few more links to see what everybody got going on for the night. I'm gonna talk a little bit about this, a little bit about that. Who y'all got in the Super Bowl? I'm gonna start off tonight's conversation. We're gonna be talking about this upcoming weekend, Sunday night game, I should say, the Super Bowl. Who are you picking? Who do you got? So like I said, I'm sending out a few links, and then I'm going to check and make sure my audio and video and everything is good. Make sure you guys can hear me. But yes, who are you picking in this week's matchup, in this week's Sunday Super Bowl game? Should be a good game, man. Should be a pretty contested game. You got, I believe, the number 2 offense against a pretty good number 2 or number 1 defense. I don't know the exactly stats, but it's going to be a good overall game. And I just want to see a good, hard fought game, all the way around. I don't have a dog in this fight, but I'm going with New England. I think New England will be able to pull it out. To me, they seem to be the better team. I think, in my opinion, I believe they have the better quarterback out of the two. But Seattle has a pretty good defense. So it's going to be a good game, man. Seattle will have the home field advantage per se. I believe New England is coming in as the team on the road, but it's an even playing field match. So I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. As you guys come in, it's Freestyle Friday. We're gonna chop it up, talk, have a little Super Bowl talk. Yeah, like I said, I just want to see an evenly matched game, man. It's gonna be a good game. You got Drake May against Sam Darnold, and I can't wait. I sent the link out to your homeboy, Real Talk with Big Dave. He's going to come in. He's not a big Sam Darnold fan. I want to hear his opinion on tomorrow's Sunday night's game, I should say. I want him to give his thoughts on the game. Tell me, who are you guys picking? Who you got in Sunday night's matchup in the Super Bowl? Again, I'm going with New England. I believe New England has the better offense out of the two. I mean, the better quarterback out of the two. And New England has a pretty good defense coming in. Not saying that Seattle defense is pretty good, which they are. I just think Sam Darnold won't be able to get it done, even though he's been having a pretty good, year this year. I think just the New England defense will be a little bit too much for him. And it can go both ways, because you got the youngest, I believe, starting quarterback, that's going to be playing. He's I believe, the second youngest quarterback to start a Super Bowl in Drake May. So it's going to be an interesting game. We probably know it'll probably be a lot of blitzes on both sides coming in. You got two young quarterbacks coming in starting this game. So, the defenses are going to look to mix it up, send a lot of blitz. That's what I would do as a coordinator. You guys got to excuse me. I'm still a little hoarse from the other day ago with all that yelling and screaming. But yeah, man. At the end of the day, I just want to see a pretty hard-fought contest game. Like I said, you got two young quarterbacks that's going to be coming in and playing. Drake May, I believe, is the second youngest quarterback to start a Super Bowl. You got Sam Darnold. He's, you can call him a veteran. He's been in the league for a few years. He's giving his shot. A lot of teams, looked over him. A lot of people, overstepped him, and a lot of people just Just didn't think that he was the guy that could lead a team to the Super Bowl. And look at him now, And Big Dave is one of those guys that did not think Donald, could be a quarterback that could lead Seattle to the Super Bowl. You know, so I just want to give my hats up to Sam Darnold, because he played a hell of a season. Brought a team that was not. I'm not going to say in the playoffs, but did not. And I'll look up their record from last year. I definitely want to come with the stats. So Seattle, I'm going to look up Seattle's record from last year. But he bought a pretty. I don't think Seattle made the playoffs last year, so I'm going to look up their record. Yeah, so and like I said, he's coming from a Minnesota team. So pretty much he left one team that was in the playoffs and went over to a team that let me just make sure. And I don't want to play any videos or nothing like that. So my stats are not coming up quick enough. But from the most part, man, he left one team. One team didn't believe in him. And he left and went to Seattle, which I believe that didn't, if I'm not mistaken, they did not make the playoffs. Let me finish looking this up. I don't want to misquote anything. Oh, anyway, I'll get back to that. But yeah, like I said, he surprised a lot of people this year. So I want to, like I said, I want to give my hats off to Sam Donald. A lot of people did not believe in him, and he still proven and beat the odds and made the Super Bowl. So like I said, he's going to be coming in with a pretty good defense behind him. So like I said, I want to wait for a few people to jump in. I sent out a few invites for a few people to come in. I'm gonna invite my homeboy LB in, see what he got going on. See if he want to talk some football talk. But comment down below. I would love to hear you guys' opinion. Who are you picking in Sunday night's game between Seattle and the New England Patriots? Okay, let me see with BJ3. Haven't heard from him in a while. All right, so yeah, at the end of the day, man, I want to see a pretty this is a pretty good, decent game. I don't have a dog in this fight. Sometimes that make for a great game. Just to be able to relax and just watch the game and just have a good time. I don't know if I'm going to do a live commentary for that game. I may just relax and just watch, sit back, relax, and watch and chill the game. Yep. So what are you guys doing? What the Super Bowl party is going to be? Who are you picking? What you cooking? I'm probably gonna cook up some hot wings and just chill out. Have a little finger food, chips and dips and things like that. Not nothing too big, too extravagant. But just enough to have a nice feast, I should say. Yeah. So, but yeah, I would love to hear you guys is picking Sunday Super Bowl game. I would love to hear you guys' opinion. What do you think the score is going to be? It's going to be a lot of different bets. I know a lot of people got a lot of money on the line. I'm not a bettor, but if I was to bet and put my money, it definitely would be with New England. They surprised a lot of teams this year. But to me, this year has been wide open. I believe to me this was the year that my team, the Lions, should have made some noise and been here. We got teams that wasn't even there last year that's playing in the Super Bowl. So, it's a disappointment, for a lot of teams that should have been here. You had Buffalo, You had the Baltimore that had disappointing seasons. You had Detroit that had a disappointing season. The Rams. So it was wide open this year. Which is a good thing, man. You got two new teams coming in. Which New England. They've been winning it for a while. They just been out of it for maybe about 4 or 5 years since um, Tom Brady retired. But it's a good look to see New England back in there. With their new head coach. So he's bringing a lot of you know he's bringing a lot of skilled over from his old coach. A lot of knowledge and from just playing the game and now coaching the game. So it's going to be a great game, man. Like I said, at the end of the day, I just want to see an evenly matched, good contested, hard fought game. Excuse me. You got two young quarterbacks facing off against each other. Sam Darnold, he's a little bit more of a veteran. You got Drake May, who's coming in, the second youngest quarterback to start the Super Bowl. So Seattle's going to be showing him a lot of different defenses coming in. Me, in my opinion, I said I would send a lot of blitzes each way, on defenses. So we know there's going to be a lot of blitzes coming. So, that therefore it's going to have to. Both teams are going to be relying on the running game. So to me, in my opinion, whoever wins the running game, whoever wins the game on the ground, probably will win this game. So we just got to go and look, and the closer we get to this game, we'll look at the injuries, the key matchups, the offensive line, the defensive line, and things like that. Seattle is coming in, like I said, I believe one of the top two defenses in the league this upcoming year. So they take the ball away. They're a scrappy, fighty, defensive minded team. So they come to play. But my thing is, I don't think Sam Darnold, which he had a great year. I just think the New England defense will be able to shake him up and get to him early. But back to what I was saying, man, it's a lot of teams that's, would have been licking and chopping, licking their lips to be playing in the Super Bowl against either team. I'm still upset that my team didn't even make the playoffs. So it was just another disappointing year for us. Because for me it was Super Bowl or bust. And we'll be looking at that again next year for the Lions, Super Bowl or bust. But we got two great teams that's going to be facing off Sunday against each other. Comment down below. Let me know what you guys who do you guys think is going to win this matchup? Because this game, football, is all about matchups. So I think whatever defense will be able to turn the ball over and get more turnovers, will definitely probably come out with the victory. And normally that's what it does. They say defense wins championships. But to me, offense definitely can win championships too. And New England is coming in. They're not coming in as hot as they were during a regular season. We all know that during playoff time, things get a little tight. The refs let these boys play, and you may not see a lot of high power offensive games during the playoffs. But hopefully the refs will let these boys play. Hopefully it'll be great weather. And we'll just be able to see a great football game. But like I said, I'm definitely going to, as we get closer to the game, the matchups, the players, hopefully, everybody is 100% healthy on both sides. Therefore, it'll be an evenly matched game. Yep, I want to say what up to everybody over there on Facebook. Hopefully, everybody's having a great Friday night. I want to say what's up to everybody over there on YouTube and everybody on Instagram. Hopefully everybody is having a great Friday night. So like I said, we're just having a little bit of talking about this upcoming matchup between Seattle and New England. Who are you picking? I would love to know you guys' pick. Again, I'm going with New England. I think that defense will be too much for the Sam Darnold and that Seattle offense. But Seattle has a fighting chance with that defense, man. Like they say, defense wins championships. And then Sam Darnold, man, it'll be surprising to a lot of teams. I'm quite sure Minnesota is probably, kicking themselves in the ass for allowing him to get away, especially after the season that he had this year. Yeah. So, but man, it's been a surprising year. Um, most of the teams that I thought that were going to make it did not even make the playoffs. So, a lot of teams that to me this year that were in the playoffs, to me, a lot of these teams that we see now that's been winning and that were in the playoffs was due to a lot of the top teams that had bad seasons this year. But it's all in the game. It happens to each team, players get hurt, so it is what it is. Yeah. So, but like I said, at the end of the day, and I don't know if that's true. Hopefully, and you guys can correct me. I believe our boy resigned, so I think we will be keeping your boy our other running back Montgomery. So hopefully that's true. We're definitely going to need him. I know they said that they wanted to run Jahmyr Gibbs a little bit more. And they tried to do that, but we definitely are a better team with two great running backs back there in the backfield to be able to offset each other. Yep. But man, it's going to be a great game. You got the Patriots against the Seattle Seahawks. Two surprising teams that no one thought, at the beginning of this year's season that, we will be looking at Seattle and New England in the playoffs. Again, you got Drake May, the second youngest quarterback to start a Super Bowl against the veteran, still young guy, Sam Darnold, who a lot of teams overlooked, who a lot of people overlooked and did not think that he was that guy, that he would be able to lead a team to the Super Bowl. And look at him, So this goes out to, all you young players out there that's looking to make it to the league or that has made it to the league, and teams overlook you. It's not about where you fall or how you get drafted. That's really all about the money. It's all about once you get there, once you suit up and how you perform. How you're able to lead your team. And how you be just able to get out there and do what you need to do. Because it's been proven over and over. It doesn't matter, where you fall in a draft is when you get your chance to go out there and how you perform. And we've seen it over and over throughout the years. Look at Shador. Look how he dropped in the draft, and it still was once he was able to give a chance to get out there. He proved his doubters wrong. He was able to go out there and get a few W's. He was out there to get some valuable time at the end of the season, getting ready to lead up into next year. So it's a perfect example. Back what I was saying that it doesn't matter where you get drafted. It matters what you do once you get there to your team and you're able to get that opportunity to get out there in the field. So yeah, you can't look at where you fall in the draft, man, because like I said, you have Sam Darnold. A lot of people gave up on him. A lot of people didn't think that he was the quarterback to be able to lead their team to the Super Bowl, and look at him. You know what I mean? So you just got to continue to play hard, continue to not listen to your doubters, go out there and prove your doubters wrong, and just play your game, and that's it. Because a lot of people have hated on Sam Darnold the last really 2-3 years, and for the most part, man, I'll just be honest, he's went out there and won games. That's it. So the commenting section is open. I would love to hear you guys' comment, your thoughts on Sunday night Super Bowl game. Who do you pick? Yep. So yeah, I have not even checked my audio and video. So give me a second. Let me go make sure that you guys that I can be heard. I've been had a lot of people jumping in and jumping out. So let me make sure that my audio and video and everything is good. I don't know why they always showing a short video. All right, testing, testing. All right, the video looks cool. All right, testing, testing. All right, there we go. So everything is cool. So, but yeah, man. At the end of the day, I just want to see a great contested game. Like I said, if I was the coordinator on both sides, I would be sending a lot of blitz, especially especially if I was New England, and I know the head coach, he's a defensive minded guy. So he's going to show a lot of different faces for Sam Darnold to look at. But most of all, there's going to be a lot of blitz coming his way. They're going to try to shake him up early. Because that's the scouting report. On him. Well, coming out of Minnesota. And just overall. If you can get to him early and shake him up, you have a chance at beating that team. But for the most part, man, he's been a good, solid quarterback all year long. He's proven all of his doubters wrong. He was able to lead Minnesota to the playoffs. He had a great year with them a year ago. And I know Minnesota are kicking themselves in the ass for allowing him to get away. And now look at him. He has a chance to go on and prove everybody wrong and has a chance to win a Super Bowl. But it's going to be hard, man. This New England defense is tough and feisty. And I like the quarterback. I like Drake May, man. Again, he's the second youngest quarterback to start the Super Bowl. It's going to be a great game. Like I said, the closer we get to the game, hopefully it'll be an evenly matched game, meaning that there's no injuries, no key injuries on both sides. And I believe as of right now, there are no key injuries to any of the key players right now. I have to go back and check later on tonight and check the scouting reports or the injury reports. But, hopefully everybody who was a little bit banged up, they had these 2 weeks off. They were able to rest up and heal up, and get prepared for Sunday's game. So the comment section is definitely open. I would love to hear you guys' opinion. I would love to hear your thoughts. Who are you picking in Sunday night's Super Bowl game? It's going to be a great game. Like I said, at the end of the day, I just want to see an evenly matched, contested game. Yep. And yeah, another thing I want to talk about, and I should have done a video on this. I want to give my condolences to the family of Damon Wilson, Damon Wilson. He was the character in Sanford and Son. Normally, that was one of my favorite shows to watch. My mom picked a name. I'm not going to say name me after him, but she took his name and switched around the words and kind of named me after that. His is pronounced Damon, but mine is Damon. So I've always taken a liking to him because of that. And it was just a great show. He was a great actor. He played a great character. I thought he was an awesome son to play to back up Fred Sanford in that show. So again, I want to give my condolences to the family of Damon Wilson. He was a great actor and a great family man. So at the end of the day, RIP, my condolences to him. Yep. So what's going on out there? What are Super Bowl parties? What are y'all doing this Super Bowl Sunday weekend? What's going on out there? I need for y'all to like, comment, subscribe, and share as you guys come in. We're just sitting here. I'm just sitting here chopping it up, talking about this upcoming Super Bowl weekend, this matchup. You got two great defenses that's going to be matching up against each other. We're definitely going to see a good defensive game. Hopefully we'll see a great offensive game too. Normally when you see two great defenses match up, it's normally a low scoring game. And that makes it for a good football game too. You know, So I know a lot of people got a lot of bets out there. They're going to be betting on everything, the kickoffs, the scoring in the first quarter, throughout each quarter, things like that. So it'll be a lot of opportunity for people to make a lot of money on this year's Super Bowl game. I'm not a bettor, so I really don't play the odds on that. I'm not really good at betting, so I try to stay out of that. But it'll from just all the things that they have set up for people to be able to win. It's a lot of opportunity for people to win money. So play smart, and stay within your realm. You know. We got a few people watching. I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It's Freestyle Friday. I sent out links. I'm waiting on a few people to join us. Right now we're talking about, right now I'm talking about the Super Bowl this upcoming weekend. Who are you guys picking? We have a few people watching. Comment in the comment section. I would love to know who you guys are going to pick for this weekend's game. Who you're picking to win this game. Give me your thoughts. I'm going with New England. I think their defense will be too much for Sam Darnold and that offense. I don't think Sam Darnold, and he's had a great year, but sometimes everything good comes to an end, and I think his season is getting ready to come to an end Sunday. That New England defense, they're feisty. They're all over the field. They make a lot of turnovers. So it's going to be a great game. Like I said, I would love to hear you guys' opinion, your thoughts on Sunday night's game. Comment down below in the comment section. Tell me, what do you think? Do you think Seattle defense will be too much for the second youngest quarterback to start a Super Bowl in Drake May? Tell me, what do you think? He has not, the last 3 games, been putting up the numbers that they've normally have been putting up that they were putting up in the regular season. What up, though, James Sanders? Happy Friday to you, man. Okay, James Sanders going with Seattle. Okay. Now tell me why you going with Seattle, James. Give me your thoughts on that. Do you think Sam Darnold has what it takes to be able to win a Super Bowl against this great New England defense? So I would love to hear your opinion. So here we go. So we're going to start it off with that, James. So yeah, so give me your opinion on that. What do you think? Give me the score, because you're already going with them. So you're saying that Seattle is going to have a great game and they're going to win. So do you think it's going to be a blowout, a tight game? Give me your predictions on the score. You've already gave me your thoughts on the win. But hopefully you're having a great Friday, James. And I was talking earlier before you came in, James. I think, and I'm not taking nothing away from Seattle, or I'm not taking nothing away from New England, but we've had a lot of surprise teams this year that normally wouldn't be there. We had a lot of our top teams on both sides that had bad years. Kansas City, Buffalo, this was their best chance to be able to win the Super Bowl. I feel horrible for Josh Allen. That was my guy. I like him, but this was one of his best chances. Same thing for Baltimore. This was his best chance to win the Super Bowl too. Meaning that Pat Mahomes was out. So it was wide open for everybody on the AFC, and most of the top teams that were there, that's been there every year, year after year, had bad years this year. Same thing on the NFC. A lot of people was picking Detroit. It was Super Bowl or bust for our team. We did not even make the playoffs. It was a horrible year. And like I said, a lot of teams that should have been there did not make it. Therefore, it allowed teams, in my opinion, like Seattle and New England, to be able to make the playoffs on both sides. Okay, we got Real Talk with Big Dave getting ready to come in. What up, though, Big Dave?
Oh no, what up, though?
What up, though? Just chopping it up, man. Sitting here talking about this Sunday Super Bowl matchup. Chopping it up with James Sanders. He's in the comment section. He's going with Seattle. I'm going with New England. I know you're not a big Sam Darnold fan, so Real Talk. Go ahead and formally introduce yourself to the show. Okay, it sounds like he's having a few technical difficulties right now, but I know he'll jump in pretty soon. But yeah, James. James Sanders made another comment. He said, I never liked New England since the Tom Brady era, but I respect Tom Brady. There won't be another Tom Brady. I will agree with you on. I don't think it'll be another Tom Brady. No time soon. All records are made to be broke at some point. It'll probably take a long time. I don't think Drake. Wow. I don't think Drake May is Tom Brady by far. But he's definitely having a great start. He's the second youngest quarterback to start the Super Bowl. So, if he's able to pull it out, then, hey, who knows? But I've always been a Tom Brady fan. I'm a Michigan fan. So I definitely, I'm Tom Brady all the way. But yeah, man. So yeah, give me your opinion on your boy Sam Darnold, James. What do you think he'll be able to do differently that teams have not been able to do against New England? New England has been committing. They've been forcing turnovers on quarterbacks. They've been shutting the running game down. In my opinion, I think whoever wins the running game will come out victorious in Sunday's game. I don't think it'll come down. I'm not going to say it'll come down to, because the quarterbacks is the leader of the team, but I think whoever runs this, okay, we got Big Dave coming back in. What up, though? Let me add him back to the stage. What up, though?
I don't know if it's your end or my end.
I can hear you. You good now?
Hello.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Damn.
You can't hear me, big dog? Come on out and come back in. Yeah, but yeah, man, hey, like, a lot of people didn't like New England because of Tom Brady and what he was able to do, in that era, but you can't do nothing but respect it. But I'm a big Tom Brady fan. I'm a Michigan fan. Okay, we got Big Dave coming in. Hopefully he don't figure out his Real Talk with Big Dave. Okay, Dave. All right. Well, hopefully he'll work out those issues. But okay,
Yeah, can you
James
hear me
Sanders
now?
said Drake May just started. It's not his time, just like
Can you hear
Jay
me?
Daniels for the Washington Commanders. Hey, in my opinion, I think he got what it
Can
takes
you
to
hear
be able
me?
to beat the Seattle team. Don't get me wrong. That Seattle defense is tight. They turn over. They get a lot of turnovers, I should say. But I think Drake May will get back to how he was in the regular season. He has not. The last 3 playoff games, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's been up under 15 points or less. It's been a lot of different the weather conditions and things like that. Hopefully weather will not be a factor. Because before the playoffs, I believe they were averaging maybe like 27 points a game. So he'll be able to put up some numbers. Especially if the weather is not a factor. And on
Can you
the
hear me?
other hand, man, I think Sam Darnold is going to struggle with that New England's defense. And I can't wait for Real Talk to Big Dave to figure out his audio. But we got a few people watching. comment. The comment section is definitely open. Let me know who you guys are picking in this Sunday Super Bowl. James Sanders said he's going with Seattle. At the end of the day, I said whoever will control the running game will win this game. I think Drake May will be too much for Seattle. He's put up great numbers all year long. I don't think Seattle defense will be able to stop him, even though they really do have a great secondary. But I think the running game of New England will be a little bit too much. Plus, with the leadership of Drake May, James Sanders also said nobody can shut out the San Francisco 49ers in the NFL like the Seahawks did. I agree, man. And San Francisco had a really great offensive. Well, not this year, but their offense is normally great. They're normally good, and their defense is good. For them to be able to beat the 49ers, it says a lot. So I agree with you on that, James. And he said 2 times also. I don't know what's going on with Real Talk with Dave Audio, but hopefully he'll be able to get in because he's one of the guys that he never liked Sam Darnold. We had a show that we did not too long ago, talking about, I was talking about how great and how good Sam Darnold looked this year. Big Dave always has said, and he said this with Minnesota, how they put guys like Sam Darnold over, a lot of the black quarterbacks in the NFL that, wasn't given shots, or was overlooked. But he proven a lot of people wrong. He's led his team to the Super Bowl. Okay, here we go. We're gonna try this again, Dave. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. I told you that the first time. I can hear you loud and clear. You couldn't hear me? Okay, well, we good now. Yep, so look, man, go ahead and formally introduce yourself to the show.
It's Real Talk with Big Dave.
There we go. Well, look, man, we sitting up here talking about the Super Bowl. Give everybody your thoughts. Give everybody your opinion on who you think is going to win this matchup this Sunday. We know you're not a Seattle fan, so I already know who you're going for, but I want you to tell everybody your thoughts on this upcoming game.
Man, I just have to be honest. I don't give a damn about none one of these teams. I don't really care to even watch this Super Bowl, man. I'm just really upset with the way this turned out this year. But and I definitely don't like Sam Darnold because the NFL, man, the way they, he been in the league for 8 years, and ain't did nothing. They finally put him on a team, where he can get some justice, I guess. I don't know. I don't know how to call either one of these games because I don't care for neither one of them, but I don't like Sam Darnold. So, and I don't like New England. But, I would like to see Diggs, do something because he's been in the league for a while. He's been a top-tier receiver for a long time since Minnesota, and then he went to Buffalo and did his thing. So I would like to see him.
Overdue.
Yeah, I would like to see him do something, because what he has been through in the NFL, and he has been putting up numbers his whole career. So I would like to see him do something. But man, I'm just be honest, man. I'm not feeling one of these teams. Like I said, I would like to see Diggs win something because he had a good shot over there with Josh Allen, and he put up numbers, and it just didn't work out. Now he's in New England with the young boy Drake May, and they had a real good season. This is his second season, the young boy, and he did a hell of a job this year. He's up there in MVP with Matthew Stafford, even though Matthew Stafford is going to take it.
Yeah, he's the second youngest quarterback to start the NFL. But what up, though, Leaf Hackett? Leaf said he's picking Seattle. Hey, Leaf, send me a different email because every time I send you a link, I send your email out to send you a link, it's saying that the email is wrong. So that's why I'm not able to bring you in because I need a different email. But yeah, man, you got Seattle. tell me, Leaf, and why do you think Sam Darnold will be able to get past this New England defense, man? And Dave, and I want to get back to that Sam Darnold question, Dave. And you've been on Sam Darnold here for a few years, man. Have he proved anything to you yet, Dave, that he was able to win in Minnesota? He left that team, come to a team that I don't even think that made the playoffs last year and was able to take this team to the Super Bowl. So give me your opinion on that. That has to say something for Sam Darnold. I know a lot of people didn't believe in him. I know a lot of people didn't think that he would even win a playoff game. But for him to make it to the playoffs, to me, that says a lot.
No, well, not to me. Not to me. I'm sorry, man. They could say I'm hating. I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn about Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold ain't showed me shit in 8 years. He was a high prospect coming out of college, and he done been on 5 different teams. They always find a way to give a white boy a chance every goddamn time. And there's other blacks been out here that's better than him, that's proven things, and they still won't let them in the league. This ain't a just complete knock on Sam Darnold. It ain't his fault that the NFL is full of shit. But at the end of the day, that was a different team last year that didn't make the playoffs. They got a whole lot of different players. They got Lockett gone. They got DJ Metcalf gone, and they revamped that defense. They revamped that team and built around that defense, which is a number 1, number 2 defense in the league. Some of the
I want to say this, man. It wasn't just the defense that got them there, man. It was the play of the quarterback too. That has to mean for something. I know you're not a Sam Darnold fan, but you have a lot of Seattle fans out there that would think otherwise. And his record and his stats speak just alone for that. But go ahead, Dave.
If you go back and look at all those games, Sam Darnold just about threw interceptions damn near every game. He did show up these last few games. He showed up against San Francisco. He showed up against the Rams. He just didn't turn the ball over. He had some luck with that. Okay, and the offense did do a decent job. He had good running backs. He had good receivers, but I mean, let's just keep it real. That defense, if it wasn't for that defense, they wouldn't be here. That defense is what took that team where it should have went. Because you get rid of that defense, that offense, it put up points, but it wasn't putting up points like that it just was blowing teams out the water. It's just that defense knew how to finish. That's all to it. You know what I'm saying? And the offense played good enough with Sam Darnold being a game manager by not turning the ball over, gave him some justice. So you got to give him credit for not turning the ball over because he's a turnover machine and he chokes. In the last few games, he did a good job. I give him that, but that ain't good enough for me. Because like I was watching First Take, and they were saying that teams don't develop quarterbacks right. Well, damn. Sam Darnold had 5 different teams to get developed right. So finally, they picked the perfect team for him. Okay, cool. But what about the other players that have showed that they have the talent and they don't give them a chance? So I have an issue with it, and I'm never not going to have an issue. I have a big issue with the NFL. As much as I love football, I played this game. I love football. I love watching it. I love commentating it. So I will give Sam Darnold his props for not being a turnover machine these last few games. So I give him that.
Okay. Well, look, man, at the end of the day, I definitely don't have a dog in this fight. My team is out. We didn't even make the playoffs. And then, and I understand your frustration. We let a Seattle team that's led by Sam Darnold, who would have thought that Sam Darnold would be able to lead Seattle to a Super Bowl? I think only Seattle and Sam Darnold thought that coming into this year's season. So I want to give my hats off to Sam Darnold in Seattle, because he's proven everybody wrong, all the doubters wrong. But I think everything sometimes has to come to an end. And I think Sunday it will come to an end for Seattle. I think the New England defense will be too much. They get at the quarterback early. I think they'll send a lot of blitzes. Sam Darnold kind of remind me. I'm not going to say he reminds me of a Jared Goff, but the scouting report on him is once you get him with that happy feet, he tends to turn the ball over a lot, and I will agree with you on that, Big Dave. So therefore, I think the New England defense will pretty much, be blitzing probably more than like 60%, of the time, and they'll be able to shake him up and be able to turn the ball out and come out victorious, due to the defense and turnovers, So, and then not only that, I think the running game of New England will be able to control the clock, and pretty much keep the ball out of the hands of Sam Darnold. You know what I mean? And then, like you say, I think we'll see Tay Diggs get it done this year. I mean, not Tay Diggs, but Stephon Diggs. Yeah, Dave. I'll give you the last comments on this upcoming Sunday's game, and we'll move on to another one. It's Freestyle Friday, and we're just talking about any and everything. So yeah, give your last comment, Dave, and we'll start up another conversation.
Like I said, man, this is a game I don't care to see, so I have to be born out my world to watch it. I'm just not interested about this Super Bowl. So, I don't really have much to say about that, man. You ready to move on? We could move on.
Right. And who's doing a halftime show? I have not heard who's doing a halftime show. That's one thing that I have not really. How they normally make it a really big thing. I don't know why. Maybe it's just me, or maybe I have not been watching too much TV.
Well, it's only a big thing when it's us doing it. So it might be some. I don't know.
Right.
It might be
that's a
bullshit.
fact. Yeah,
it might be some bullshit, man.
So hopefully we be entertained both ways, man. Hopefully we get some good. Do you enjoy the Super Bowl commercials, Big Dave?
Yeah, I love the commercials.
Okay, hopefully we'll get some good commercials, man. I love the Super Bowl commercials. They have some great commercials, great ideas. And just all fun and games, man. At the end of the day, I don't have any. Go ahead, Dave.
The commercials is very interesting.
Yes, they are. It's hilarious. To start off the new year. Yeah. So, but yeah, man, at the end of the day, like I said, I just want to see a good, interesting, hard-fought game. I don't have any dogs in this fight. I did pick New England, to make it interesting. But, whoever wins this game, I'll give my, I don't have a dog in this fight. So hopefully, it'll just be a good, evenly matched, good fight. But real talk with Big Dave, man. What's the dealio, man? How your Friday been going so far?
Man, I had a long day. Just put it like this: I'm here, I'm functioning, so I'm blessed for that. Complaining about stuff ain't gonna change nothing, but it's been a long, wild day today.
No, it's not, man. It's definitely gonna not change nothing. But at the end of the day, what can you do?
No. So I'm good.
Go ahead. My bad, Dave.
No, I said I'm good though.
Okay, yep. That's cool, man.
You hear that? Did you hear that stuff about they after Jay-Z now? 50 Cent, everybody after Jay-Z now. They said they bringing up, they going after him about young women, man. They said he done lost 3 million followers and Beyonce done lost 10 million followers. What's up with that?
Yeah, man, I've been waiting before I kind of did a story on that because I don't know if that was fake news or how true it was, but yeah, I definitely been hearing like how he's been dropped from all, a lot of the stars have dropped him as from social media. I heard even Beyonce dropped him, as a follower or whatnot, her mother. So yeah, man, we've been hearing these rumors for years, Big Dave. So it's finally getting ready to hit the fan. It started with Aaliyah, and I've even mentioned Beyonce, that she was underage when he first got with her. But Jay-Z got them lawyers, man. Normally we see what happened when the last young woman and the lawyer tried to hit him. He ended up sticking his lawyers on there. So we don't know how that's going to fall, but You know, but at
Well,
the
you
end of the
know,
day, man, if he was involved, if he did have anything to do with molesting or SA these young women, you know, he needs to pay a price. You know, I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. You know, give me your thoughts on that. What do you think? Do you think Jay is it time? You know, that they brought the hammer down on Jay-Z? You know, at the end of the day, you know, give me your thoughts on that, Big Dave. What do you think? Do you think it's time? Do you think he's innocent, or do
well,
you think he's guilty?
man, I mean, it's all you know. Right now, they don't have no. You know, they got to show me proof. You know, I haven't seen no proof. It's all talk. But what we do know is proof of is Aaliyah, and a few different people dated her. You know, R. Kelly was the first one to get her. But see, the thing that I don't like about this whole thing about these stars with the dumb shit they do, and you know, because some of that dumb shit I wouldn't be doing, but at the end of the day, man, we got to blame some of these parents, man, because these young girls can't get in the hands of these stars unless these parents allow. You know what I'm saying? And Aaliyah parents allow her to be with R. Kelly and Rome because they wanted that startership, they wanted that money, so they put her out there. You know what I'm saying? And
No, that's a
you know,
fact.
we are as parents supposed to protect our children, but we get so caught up in the talent and the fame that our child can have that maybe can take us to the next level, can get us out that home in the hood. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know, and the parents, man, that's pretty much from that whole R. Kelly situation, you know, and you hit it right on the nose, Dave. You know, the parents are not thinking about the children. They're thinking about the money
No.
that could be made, you know, off of pretty much exploiting their children, you know, because I'm gonna be honest, in my opinion, I think that's what most of these parents did with their children when they allowed them to be with R. Kelly or record. You know, you were exploring your motherfucking child, you know, with a known, and you knew what this man was about, you know. So I don't have any
Yeah.
sympathy, you know, for the parents. You know, I think the parents should have been facing charges right
You
along,
damn right.
you
You
know,
damn
with
right.
these entertainers. But go ahead, Dave.
No, I said I'm agreeing with you. You damn right because these parents are getting away with it. You know, I don't know what Jay Z doing, but let's get real, Dave. Let's just be real, man. A lot of older men date young ass women, and some of them a little too young. And if you're gonna do it, if you're gonna go young, at least make sure they legal. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, we might not like certain things, but just think about it. Just think about if you was 21 and you dated a girl, let's say 16,
Right,
and they legal at 17, but you 21, so you 5 years older than her.
right,
And you know what I'm saying? It seems like, you know, because she's not legal. Just say she 15 and you 20 or
right,
21. And it don't look right, but when that guy is 50 and she 45 or 44, it don't look bad now, do
right. It don't look bad. You know,
it?
and to me, man, and you hit it again on the nose, man. To me, these R. Kelly's, Jay Z's, man, they're manipulating. They're getting these young girls, you know, and they're just manipulating them because you know they don't know any better. You know, they're in awe. You know, they're trying to get their careers off the road. I mean, off the ground. You know, so they're taking advantage. You know, and the parents are allowing this. You know, so there's no telling how many young women and men probably, you know, that you know, allegedly, you know, and I'm going to say allegedly, you know, that these
You got to
entertainers,
say
you know, the
allegedly.
Jay-Z's and the R. Kellys and the Puffies, you know, have gotten away with this, you know, but for the most part, man, you know, it seems like they're trying to crack down. You know, to me, at the end of the day, it's a money grab, I think, you know, but it is if there's any truth, you know, to this, you know, and what's your girl who's been breaking all the who's been breaking all this coverage and saying all this shit for years? Give me it'll come to me in 1 second. She actually sung on Jay-Z album. And she's been
You
breaking all the
talk
news, Dave. I
about
know you know who her name is. But you know, she's been saying this shit for years about all these actors, how they've been fucking these
who?
young girls and you
Maya?
know, misleading the public about, you know, everything, you know, and just, you know, these freak offs has not just started. It's been going on, you know, and Puffy has not, he's not the originator of this. So we get it's always a bad look when they put our people as the main front runner of all this, and at the end of the day, Puffy deserves to get, especially if he committed these crimes, what he deserves, but he'll be coming home, I believe, next year, but, I would love to hear more evidence against Jay-Z, so at the end of the day, man, I have not really touched the story. I don't know how true it is, because like I said, man, he normally sick his lawyers on these guys, and normally those cases disappear.
I'm gonna tell you like this, man. We missing the bigger picture. You notice we doing the work for the white man. All they doing is they want us to destroy the black entertainment business, period. Period. So now suddenly all these people they looked up to are pedophiles, molesters, or whatever they say they wanted. They was on the Weinstein Island. I don't know what proof they got, but this is what I know. We dropping the ball on, you know what I'm saying? We dropping the ball because there's bigger things going on. This is the way to embellish us. This is the way to get rid of us. Period. You start with the rich on down to the poor. And we just missing some things because we getting caught up into listen to everything we hear on, social media. Yeah, we're on social media, but we out here putting messages out here. We talking about real stuff, and we putting stuff out here what we think is real. I mean, what we think is right or wrong. And some of the stuff we're gonna make humor of it, and some of the stuff we're gonna make a joke of it. But for the most part, we keep a lot of this stuff real with our content, and we don't play games with it. But I don't know what to believe with it. Whatever's going on, we just have to sit back and get the popcorn ready. That's all I can tell you. But it's something bigger going on, and little by little, our people are going to fade because we're getting caught up and we're believing too much of the bullshit.
All right. Yeah, man. And then at the end of the day, hey, listen, it seems like they were talking about they don't brought this Jay-Z shit out now, meaning that Trump was it almost like seemed like when they had Trump cornered about these Epstein's files, they want to throw this Jay-Z shit out, and kind of sweep that whole Trump shit up under the table. If you noticed that.
See what I'm saying? Now you hitting on what I'm talking about. See what I'm saying? We're missing the bigger picture, man. Because if you look at the city, county, the House and Senate, man, the Congress, man, them the biggest molesters and perverts it is. Let's just keep it real. Allegedly, they are the ones that do.
Yes.
They're doing it
definitely allegedly, but we've heard all type of stories about certain things, and I want to get off into that on this show, but yeah, you 100% right, man. We've heard a lot of wicked stories about a lot of high people in high places, so that's where you get a lot of these Epstein files from, man. It's finally hitting the fan. Hopefully we'll be able to actually hear and see a lot of these so-called entertainers that we look up to and actors on this list. They're hiding it for some reason, man. Because I guarantee you it was probably some crazy shit that was going on at them parties, man, with a lot of young girls. You know what I mean? So, and I think that's the ritual, man. Like, why do you think that is, Dave? Why do you think, and no one wants to be, and I'll be honest, no one wants to be with no old motherfucker, nothing like that. But why do you think these athletes, these entertainers, these high class, high power people are always getting caught up in these situations with, underage women or young men? What's up with that?
It must be some kind of fetish, man, because
I never understood that, man, because you got a lot of beautiful older women, that's more than willing, to do, what people ask, what they ask or what they want. Why do you have to go and fuck and pick with kids?
You know why? Because older women are more of a challenge. Older women are more of a responsibility. See, you go to somebody young, they're not a responsibility and a challenge. They someone you can manipulate. And some of them, you know, they get easily banged. Watch, you got these girls out here with these lashes that's bumping, hitting the windshields. They getting their bodies dead. And, you know, it's easier to deal with them, you know, some tequila and some weed. And, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? They can pay a fucking phone bill. But when you get a real woman that's up in age, it's a responsibility. She's gonna challenge. She's gonna challenge you on shit. She's not gonna let you just do and say anything and just let you buy her out. See, an independent real woman is a responsibility, and she's definitely gonna be a challenge to you. So you don't want that kind of smoke. You don't want to deal with that. So you go to the next easiest thing. These girls out here that's getting these bodies did, getting these with all these lashes and hair hanging all down to their ass, and them women there, and not trying to degrade them, but to some guys they're easier and less confusing. You just throw a couple of dollars and not much, and like I said, a bottle of tequila and some weed, and it's only popping.
Yeah, you know, and I get that, and that's what I mean. Like, why wouldn't those type of men go after those type of women versus trying to go with young kids and shit? You know what I mean?
Right.
That's sick. These some
I
sick
got you.
individuals.
I got you. Well, that's
Yeah.
because
So
that's
that's
because
crazy, man. I never understood that. You know, you got these high powered men, entertainers that's making good money. You know, and you got women that's ready and willing, to go and do whatever they want.
they
You know,
want the
but
easy
they,
prey.
they want children.
They want the easy prey.
Yeah,
They want
so I
somebody they
never
can
understood that, man.
manipulate.
So to me, in my opinion, each and every one of those guys who committed those crimes, especially against children, they definitely deserve what they got coming.
That's a
So
fact.
but yeah, man, look like they're trying to get your boy Jay-Z, man. He, like I said earlier this year or last year, he had a young lady that came out and had allegations, but his lawyer, he sicked his lawyers on him, and that case disappeared. So hopefully, I mean, not hopefully, well, it sounds like they got more evidence against him, that they're going to be bringing up. But, like I said, I really didn't want to touch the story yet, because there's been a lot of fake news about that going on, but, hopefully Jay-Z will be able to clear that up. If not, man, if he's guilty, he should get what he deserves too. And that's almost a ritual, Dave. And we know that we've been hearing that for years, man. It's almost like it's a ritual, for these entertainers, these lawyers, to do these things, to have up on each other. So I don't understand that. Give me your thoughts on that. Do you think it's a ritual that they have to do, perform these certain acts to make it, to where they're at, you know, um, for in order for people to have up or have something over each and every one of each other. You know what I mean? Because it's like, they're all putting themselves at risk, with these freak offs. It was reported that P. Diddy had hundreds of cameras, so more than likely they know they're being recorded. Why would you put yourself in a situation like that? So to me, it's almost like it's a ritual that they have to do these things that to be able to make it to a level where you want to be in that
Well,
entertaining business.
I mean, that's the type of world we live in, and that's how it goes. You know, if we didn't have people to do things like this, the world would run totally different if everybody was good and honest. We have to have some kind of bad. Let's just get real with it. Let's just be completely real. You can't have a negative without a positive. You can't have a positive without a negative.
That's a
It's going
fact.
to be some negative things that's going on that we don't approve of, and it's just going to be a group of people that's going to do the negative, and it's going to be a group of us that's going to do the positive, and hopefully the positive outweigh the negative. But that's how the world runs, and maybe the world runs that way because you get more things done. Because if everybody is on the same core and everybody was doing things the right way and everybody was nice to each other, this world wouldn't go nowhere.
No, that's a fact. And the name that I couldn't think of that was spilling all the evidence and that's been doing it for years, Jaguar Wright. She's been talking about all this, Dave. So give me your
Okay.
thoughts on that, man. You know, she's been talking about the Jay-Z. She's been talking about the Puffies. No one believed her, you know, on a lot of this stuff, you know. So now since, Puffy's been locked up, we're now hearing allegations about allegedly about Jay-Z. You know, give me your thoughts on Jaguar Wright's prediction. You know, she's been, like I said, she's been hollering this for years.
Well, I mean, maybe there's a lot of things she's seen, and she has facts. And she just didn't say nothing completely or take action. But she has been putting stuff out here little by little. So all we can do, like I said, all we can do is just sit back and see what happens. Because I mean, it's one thing that you could be accused, is another if you can get away from it. Hey, come on, Michael Jackson was known as what they say a kid molester. That's what they say. I don't know if it's true or not, but this is what I do know.
Yeah, but that was proven wrong. That was some bullshit
But no, but hear me out
that they
on this.
propagated against him.
Hear me out on this, because I
Go ahead,
love
I'm
Mike.
listening.
I cried when Mike died. You understand me? I watched Mike funeral on TV and cried. See, I can admit that I'm a real man. Man do
Yeah.
cry. But at the end of the day, that don't stop what they said about him, bro. And in my eyes, as a father, I don't care what kind of talent my child got. I'm not leaving them with no man. Michael Jackson, God bless his soul. Prince, God bless his soul. P. Diddy, Jay-Z, R. Kelly. I don't give a damn who it is. And that's why I'm really angry with the parents, because I remember that tape came out with R. Kelly pen on that girl, and all I remember women was saying, how did she take all that? That's all they was concerned about. That's all they was concerned about, is that his shit was too big for that 13-year-old to be taken. And as a mother, they shouldn't even been talking that way. They should have been mad than a motherfucker, but they wasn't. Because right after that, when he came to town, when he beat that shit, I remember he came to town, and I went to the R. Kelly concert, man. Girls was in there throwing panties at him. They totally forgot about that shit. See how the
Oh
world
yeah,
works?
and the
See
same
how the
thing would
world
happen
works?
if he was released today. So but yeah, you hitting it right on the nose, man. Look, at the end of the day, the parents of those young women should have been blamed. Not taking nothing away or trying to not take nothing away from R. Kelly, but the parents should have been locked up too. It's pretty much they surrendered their daughters, to allegedly a child molester. What father would hand over their young teenage daughter to a known, and I'll just say predator. You know what I mean? Because to me, that's exactly what it was. He was a predator. So to me,
Oh,
man, at the end of the day, these children, their parents failed them.
exactly. And the only reason we're hearing about this is because these are stars, because this has been happening from the day of time in our society every day with normal people that's not stars. This has been going on, man. You've been having men, older men. Come on, let's just get real, man. Remember back in the South when a family of 10 or 12 siblings, the mother used to get the youngest to a man.
Yeah, I mean, some
My
cultures is
grandma went
still
with
like
a
that to this day.
Yeah, my grandma, Columbia, Georgia, man. She's 10. It was 10 siblings, man. She was the second or third youngest, and she went with a man and moved here. That's how she started her family. You know what I'm
So what
saying?
do you think the difference is from back then when when fathers would give their young daughters away? Because like I said, in some cultures this still goes on to this day. Um, um, what do you say to those type of fathers that pretty much give their young daughters, virgin daughters, away to these older rich men? Because at the end of the day, man, that's to me, that's the same thing that these same parents are doing now with the R. Kellys, giving their daughters away, for monetary gains.
But see, the crazy thing about it is, like, back then that was the way because it wasn't did under the table. It wasn't did for money. You know, the mother and the wanted their daughter to really start her own family and be happy. Now that's if it makes sense to anyone. You know, see,
Yeah,
because
because I don't even think, because back then I think the laws were different, because
no, it
I
were
believe
different. It was different.
my father married my mother. My father was 18, and I believe my mother was 15. Yeah,
Let me say
so
this.
hey, that
The laws, the laws was very different back
definitely
then,
different.
especially
So
in the South. Especially in the South, man. And you watch
yeah,
those
so
movies, you watch them old South movies, man. They had them juke shops. You know, the husband will work hard and bring home all the money, and he'll go to the juke shop and have his fun. Um, the world was ran different than now. It was,
I would love to hear people's opinion on that. I'm asked that. You guys give me your opinion on that. What's the difference from back then when men were, and maybe the difference maybe they were marrying them, versus now. But what's the
yeah, they
difference
were
where
married.
when men was having relationships with younger women back then, when it was legal, I should say, because there wasn't no law against it, versus now, where you have the athletes, or just men in general sleeping with young women. So what's the difference? And give me your opinion on that. Why is it why is it shame now and it wasn't shame then, shamed on? You know what I mean? So I think me personally, the
Well,
difference may be,
yes,
those men committed to those young women when they got them
right.
pregnant or was in a relationship and married them. Go ahead,
Well, you
Dave.
just hit it on the dot, though. You just hit it on the dot. The difference was when that man went to that family, he took one of them daughters. They got married. They
Right.
got married. They started their own family, and like I said, a lot of these people from the South, guess where they came? They came here. They came here and built a family. My grandma came here and built a family.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Most of them from the South, that's what they did. They came down here with younger women and built a family.
Right.
They were marrying these women. They were taking care of them. They was building a family. But compared to these days, they're abusing these women. They mentally destroying them mentally. You know what I'm saying? And
See,
they
and
get rid of them.
now you actually have a name for those. See, back then, I don't. What you call those men pedophile back then?
They
Because
wasn't.
that's what they're calling them now, older men that wants to sleep with younger women. So, even though it was not a law on that, I guess the difference was, like we said earlier, those men were committing and marrying those women.
You there?
Big Dave?
Okay, no, faded for a second.
Okay,
Um,
no, I was just saying, because nowadays men like that are called pedophiles and they get locked up, and do time in
well, you
jail
said
versus,
you said people.
men. And James Sanders probably he made a comment. He said it's the times. So, but yeah,
Yeah, different times because back then, like I said, back then things were legal. Today the legal age, like in Michigan, in different states, is different. In Michigan, is 17, but they said it was 16, but it's really 17.
right. Well, I think you're right. I thought it used to be 16, but I believe
Yeah,
it
but
is
now it's
17 in
17.
Michigan.
Yeah,
Right.
it's 17 now.
Okay.
And then in them days, they didn't have no time. I remember Chuck Berry had a 13-year-old girl. If he hadn't have been black, they wouldn't have fucked with him. But they fucked with him because he was black with a white woman.
Yeah, see, and to me, and I'm gonna be honest, even back in those times, man, that even sounds sick for a grown man to fall in love or want to be with a teenage girl, man. That's kind of troublesome.
And
When you
it
kind of think,
sound it sound bad, don't it? It
no, it does.
sounds
It sounds really bad.
yeah.
And we can't say it's the times. or nothing like that, because to me, it's a form of like what I said earlier with these entertainers, what they want when they get these youngers. It's a form of manipulation and control. I think because a lot of things that you can get away with a young teenage girl, you can't get away with a grown woman. You know
I
what I
agree.
mean?
I agree. And that's why I said they don't want the smoke because a grown woman comes with responsibility. A
Yeah,
grown woman
and we definitely need to do a show on that, man. Because to me, now since I'm thinking about that, Dave, there's no opinion. I mean, there's no difference in I'm not gonna even say the times, man. To me, a pedophile is a pedophile. For a man to be attracted to and I'll give 2 or 3 years is not really a big age difference, but you got some men that was fucking with, that would be in their 20s fucking with 12, 13-year-old young women or marrying young women.
Okay, I got one for you. You ready for this?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Okay, it's a guy right now. He's 78.
Mm-hmm.
And his fiance or girl is, what is she? He's 78 and she's 60. She's 66.
Yeah, well, they
And
two
no,
grown
wait a
motherfuckers
minute.
right there.
He's 12 years older than her.
Right.
But if he had been with her when he was 30, you know what I mean? And
Right. No, I know
he
what you
was
mean.
28, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
And
No,
he
I
was
see what you're
28
saying.
and she was 16, that would be some fucked up shit, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and you
But you
actually
look
have
at it now,
men that's out there like
78
that
and
don't
she's
did that.
66.
Shit. I believe R. Kelly, he was 26 when Jay-Z, I believe she was 16, I believe, allegedly.
No,
And to
Aaliyah
me,
was 15. Aaliyah was 15.
yeah, or even
when
Aaliyah, and that poor girl, man, I feel she was just passed through the industry. And all those guys, the Dame Dashes, the Jay-Z's, who else? The DMX's, which his name really didn't come up. A lot of those guys, hey, got what is coming and ought to be ashamed of themselves, allegedly, if they had something to do sexually with that young girl, because she was just at a young age passed around like a baton, through the industry. And all those top guys, they all wanted her. And that girl was like 15, 16 years old.
Oh, she was 15 years old, man. When she came to sing, she was 15, man.
Yeah.
And they was after her, man.
After her. Yep. So, so to me, man, and at the end of the day, I don't think, and that's definitely going to be a discussion that and debate that we'll have in a future show. But yeah, man, hey, allegedly, these accusations has been put out there about Jay-Z. Hopefully he can clear things up. But in my opinion, man, it's just been too much information over the years that's been put out. That some of this shit is going to be true. Everything can't be a lie. Especially if you have all this information from a lot of not questionable, but witnesses that's had came forward, like Jaguar Williams. She spoke on there for years. About the things that he would do, the young girls that he would be allegedly sleeping around with. So, man, hopefully his lawyer get on the ball and they do what they have to do to clear it up. But if not, and if he was involved, he deserves to get what he get.
That's a fact.
Yeah. So go ahead. Look, Dave, I don't have anything else to add, man. I need something to drink. I don't got a little horse. It's been an hour and 19 minutes. I have not realized it was that long. Time be flying. But give everybody your last words, man, and let everybody know what you got going on and where they can reach you.
Well, it's always an honor, bro, coming on with you. You've been catching me at a lot of, at times that I'm maybe not able to come on to show my face. But you know us, man. We'll get it popping, man. We got a lot of good stuff coming, man. We're a new podcaster. Been around for about a year, but I haven't recorded a year, so I'm about to get back started. Been a little busy, but about to get back started. I got a lot of things coming. You can catch me on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Real Talk with Big Dave. That's WIT with Big Dave. And on Facebook, Big Dave Crawford. Make sure y'all subscribe. It's free. I got a lot of good stuff coming. I got some shows that you would love. Real
Okay,
Talk.
and again, I want to thank you for coming on the show, Davis. It's always an honor and a pleasure to have you come on the show, man, and give your thoughts, your comments on the conversation and topics, man. But look, man, at the end of the day, man, it's all about your manhood, man. Like, what man, looks at a young woman and is turned on by him. That says a lot about your character. This has been going on since the beginning of times. I definitely want to conversate about that. What's the difference between, and I know it's the people say it's the times, but to me, I don't think no man should be attracted, especially a man in his 20s to a teenage girl, in my opinion. But that's just in my opinion, but at the end of the day, man, I also wanted to talk about colorism today, but we ran out of time. We were talking about this R. Kelly thing a little bit too much, and I got a little hoarse, so you guys got to excuse me. But look, man, I don't have anything else to add. It was a good conversation, good talk. Again, I want to congratulate both teams in this upcoming Super Bowl, man. I just want to see a good, heavily contested fight. I don't have a dog in this fight, so it's going to be a good game. So I'll be able to just sit back, relax, and watch the game, man. It's another one. It's your boy Dame D, and I am out.
Peace.
Peace.